I was playing professional baseball, and God woke me up one night and told me I was going to be a pastor. Didn't really think too much about it, played a couple more years. When it was time to retire and do something else, God very clearly called us back to Fort Worth, where my wife is from. We moved here not knowing what he was calling us to, but just that he was calling us. I actually learned about church planting through Acts 29. Didn't know you could start your own church, didn't know that was a thing. We had seen the growth of Fort Worth as now the 13th largest city in the United States. There hadn't been a church planted in the downtown region of the city in a long time. And so we planted with the commitment that we would be a church planting church. We were not the answer to the problem in Fort Worth. What the city needed was many churches.
My wife and I moved back to Fort Worth from Albuquerque in 2011. We got connected with the Paradox Church, and then in January of 2012, I came on staff. We wanted to plant other churches. We wanted to plant other churches in this area in Fort Worth. Jim and I would talk often about who we're going to send out. And then 2015, I felt the growing desire that I would be planted, that I would be sent out. And that was hard to wrestle with because I wanted to be at the Paradox forever.
So in August of 2017, we planted Grace Church Southwest.
The Paradox had prepped us, had equipped us, and then they sent us out to plant Grace Church Southwest. I think the Paradox helped me with how to build a gospel culture. Open up. You're freed in Jesus to be honest about what's really happening with you. And that really helped us with planting, not for just Christians to come to our church, but just broken people to come and hear grace, hear undeserving favor. It wasn't just a theory for us because we had seen it, because we had lived it at the Paradox, and then we got to replicate it down the road.
Planting Grace Southwest, it gave us the opportunity to saturate Fort Worth with the glory and grace of Jesus.
When we planted our church, we had a vision from the Paradox just instilled in us that we wanted to be a church planting church.
I was at a point of just trying to figure out and discern what is God doing with me and my family as far as vocational ministry. Ryan and I had lunch, and he said, man, you should just sell your house, move up here and help me plant a church. And, lo and behold, not knowing what God would do, that's what we did.
He just moved his whole family and said, yeah, we'll join this church plant and learn and grow here so that we will plant in the future.
The Lord just kept stirring in my heart about what it would look like to plant a church in Aledo, where we lived, about 20 miles west of Grace Church Southwest.
He had such a dream and desire for Aledo and planting in that region. By 2020, he had lived there for multiple years. He had cross-fitted with thousands of people, I'm sure, and just connect with so many people because that's who Matt is. He's a connector. When I saw his heart for the city, it seemed that the time was right. It seemed that the Lord was ready to send them out.
In September of 2022, we launched Grace Church Aledo. We had right at about 36 adults, what felt like 1,000 kids. It was about 36 adults and 35 kids. And we just began doing this work in Aledo. It's just been a beautiful process. As we were getting ready to launch Grace Church Aledo, I had the privilege of going through a church planting residency while at the same time getting prepared to be assessed by Acts 29. For me and my family, we were in a time of ministry that kind of needed some theological clarity. We needed some direction about what long-term ministry looked like. The best process for us was that we felt like God was calling us to was to be a part of a healthy church, be a part of a healthy network that is truly about sending and planting churches.
We're a part of Acts 29 really for one reason, is that we want to be a part of something bigger than us. We want to be a part of church planting, but we want to be a part of church planting worldwide. We want to be a part of something that we couldn't do on our own.
For Jim, Matt, and I, there's a brotherhood there that has continued because of our function, because we have planted together, but it all started in a relationship with Acts 29. We know what we believe. We know where we stand, and we also know that we all have a hunger for more people to meet Jesus. I planted and I would plant with Acts 29 because of that commitment, that community of we're going to plant together. You need others to do this.
So we're always thinking, praying, and asking the Spirit, where might He be leading us, and not just say we want to plant churches. We really do desire to, right now, start thinking about what that looks like for us.
When you have churches in a particular city multiplying and growing, and new churches are starting, you are essentially bringing Christian brothers and sisters to the front lines of God's kingdom. New churches just have a tendency to reach new people. They have a tendency to raise up leaders when maybe those leaders didn't feel like they were ready, but they're pushed out. God has a tendency to call people when they're not quite ready. And church planting is just a way for that upward pressure of the Spirit of God to call men and women to more of God. You begin to see that evident in church planting.